On July 24th, we have a wonderful new moon in Leo. It's going to oppose Pluto and square Chiron. So there are definitely opportunities during this full moon to address our fears, look them in the face, and it gives us an opportunity for healing. Make sure you hit subscribe because when we reach 2,000 subscribers, I'm giving away one free reading to one of my subscribers. So make sure you do that so you can grab a free reading. And if you'd like to go ahead and purchase a reading, you need some extra support for this new moon, the booking link is also down below in the description box. This new moon in general should give us all a hope of being able to be ourselves and to be loved and accepted for exactly who we are. It might bring up in us fears of, like, what if I express myself and what if I'm judged for it? What if I'm made fun of it? What if these people or this partner or this job sees me as somebody weird because I do this or I believe in this? Those fears might definitely come up and we might definitely need to face them during this new moon. But it's also possible, because it's a new moon in the sign of Leo, it might be a wonderful opportunity to take that risk, to express yourself, to say what's on your mind, to let your personality shine. Because you might find that during this new moon, you are really seen for that, and that is perceived in a very positive way. And of course, as I shared, this new moon, so the sun and the moon opposing Pluto, is actually squaring Chiron right at those final degrees of Aries. And therefore, it shows us that this is a great opportunity to heal. It will be a great opportunity to heal the part of us that wants to be safe, that wants things to stay the same, because when things are the same, there is no anxiety, there's no insecurity, there's no unknown. But sometimes when we are looking for that safety and security so much, we end up dimming our lights, we end up not expressing ourselves because, again, what we know is already much easier to do. One final thing, with that Pluto in Aquarius, do take a look at the moments when you detach or disassociate, the moments when you say, well, actually, I don't care, like, it doesn't affect me. Really take a look at whether those are genuine disconnections, whether you genuinely do not care what that friend thinks or what that colleague thinks, or whether it is just a coping mechanism so that you don't feel hurt because of what the other person has said or because of what they're thinking. Pluto in Aquarius, we see a fear of standing out, and therefore we can express ourselves as aloof, as somebody that doesn't care, somebody that's quite detached. It can serve its purpose, of course, but just double check with this new moon where it is coming from. Now let's dive into each of the 12 zodiac signs so you know exactly what to expect. You can watch for your sun sign as well as your rising sign. I usually recommend the rising sign, but sun sign is also a good one. Aries, I love this new moon for you because you have the beautiful self-expressive sign of Leo in your 5th house of self-expression, fun, and pleasure. So this could be a really wonderful new moon to pick up a new hobby, to connect with an activity that brings you so much pleasure and joy. You might feel that when you do that, you're really praised for it. People are really complimenting your creative genius. What this might bring up in you, though, it might sort of trigger that Pluto in Aquarius in your 11th house. So it might trigger for you any fears that you have in terms of priorities and your future. You might see these compliments and think, wow, should I, change my career? Should I make this my career? Or, wow, like this is probably something really good. People are complimenting me on it. Should I prioritize more time on it? Maybe I've been doing things wrong. There can be a bit of any fears that you've had about your future, maybe about the fact that you haven't been able to accomplish something, or even a fear that you think it's not possible to achieve something. You love to dance and to sing, and you think, oh wow, well, I could never be Dua Lipa level. This sort of new moon, with your self-expression and your creativity being praised, might bring up those fears and say, are they really rational? Are they really true? Or is it more of a self-limiting belief? And of course, we cannot forget about Chiron squaring this new moon from your second house. So you're going to have to heal any self-esteem issues that you have that prevent you from expressing yourself. Any self-esteem issues you have that prevent you from believing that a future of you being the next Dua Lipa is possible. Taurus, this could be a very potent, very important new moon for you because it is happening in your angular houses. And especially if you have your rising sign or your sun sign at those really early degrees of Taurus, then this will especially be true. With the new moon in your fourth house, you're probably receiving some praise and some appreciation from your family. Or maybe you are being recognized for the wonderful home that you've created for yourself, whether through cooking, through, the emotional comfort of it, or whether through the interior decor. All of this could trigger the preoccupation that you sometimes might have about how people perceive you. It could trigger you to take a look at any fears you have about the way people think about you and what effect that has on you. Are you afraid that people think you're too introverted? Are you afraid that people think that you're not capable or not smart enough because you don't spend as much time with him? You spend more time alone. And of course, we cannot forget with Chiron in your first house, this is time, precious time during this new moon to heal your relationship with yourself, to really accept that you are your own unique individual. You are somebody that is allowed to set boundaries, allowed to believe in things and to stand for things, that is allowed to dress differently and speak in your own unique way. So there's a lot of, focus on these large areas of our life, on our home and our family, as well as the role that we play in how people perceive us. But ultimately, all of that addresses this part of you that you need to heal about your right to be here and your right to be selfish and to set boundaries for yourself. Gemini, this is a really interesting new moon for you because it's happening in your third house. So I feel like during this new moon, you might find yourself speaking a lot. You might find yourself doing a lot of writing or maybe teaching. And you might find that that's being perceived quite well, that you're really being appreciated and complimented on your unique way of being able to relay information to others. What this might bring is it might trigger something within you, and it might specifically trigger this part of you that is afraid of being too dogmatic, this part of you that is afraid to speak up and to take a stand on one issue instead of dancing around topics. There might be a fear within you as to, well, I don't want to become too philosophical. I don't want to ostracize certain parts of humanity. I don't want anybody to feel like what they're doing is wrong. I don't want to seem too dogmatic. So there will be some fears that you will have to take a look at. What do you believe will happen when you start speaking and when you start being acknowledged and noticed for your communication, your writing, your teaching. And what I love, during this new moon is that Chiron in your 12th house, it does represent this healing opportunity to the service that you want to offer to the world. Probably you will be thinking quite a bit as to the grander scheme of life and what you want to be known for once you are not here on this earth anymore. And you might really be contemplating and honestly healing your relationship with whether you think you can be of service to the world. It's time to heal that and to start to see how you can contribute your own unique self to help further the world, help improve the world a step further. Cancer. This is a beautiful new moon to have happening in your second house, because it's almost as if during this new moon, you are getting the opportunity to show others how you show up for yourself, to show others that you're self-reliant and capable of taking care of yourself, to show to others the wonderful self-love and self-esteem that you've built up over the last few years. You might find that you're getting praised for that people are really noticing how strong of a relationship you have with yourself, how you are able to, when you say, I'm going to get up at 6 a.m., you do it. You show up for yourself. This, though, might trigger in you the fears that you have around being vulnerable, the fears that you have around being open with others, and admitting that you sometimes also need help. It could happen that you continue to receive praise for how self-reliant you are, how you're always doing what you say you're going to do, you always take good care of yourself. And that leads you to keep up this persona to a point where it's no longer doable. And you notice that perhaps you do have a fear of opening up. You do have a fear of asking for help or fear of being reliant on others. And we cannot forget about Chiron during this new moon. It's in your 11th house. So this is a great healing opportunity when it comes to your future, what you believe is possible, what you believe is not possible, and whether that's truly true or whether there is a part of you there that needs to heal and that needs to believe in something better, in something different. So honestly, this can prove to be an emotional new moon. We are talking about that Pluto in the 8th house, but overall, I do think there is a beautiful opportunity for the future that is to come. Leo, this could be quite an intense new moon for you, especially if you have your sun or your rising sign in those early degrees of Leo. Overall, though, it is happening in your first house, so you might feel during this new moon that you're finally seen, you're finally understood, and you're really shining. Maybe you're giving an opportunity to present in front of others, you're giving an opportunity to lead and show how smart and capable you are. What could happen when you get this opportunity, when you're shining bright, when you're being showered with compliments, you have to start addressing the fear within you of compromise and what your relationship is with compromise. Are you somebody that fears that when you compromise, you are completely going to lose who you are and you're never going to enjoy life anymore? Are you somebody that fears compromise because you think that that's going to impact you only negatively? You don't see the positive sides of it. So you will definitely have to address this dichotomy between, but I want to do what I want and I'm my own unique individual and I'm praised for that, versus It's also really beneficial to have help, to be part of a group, and to compromise so that the needs of others are met and so that others can also shine. Remember, we also have Chiron squaring the new moon and Pluto. For you, it's in your 10th house of your career. So in general, this new moon is going to be a wonderful healing opportunity for your preoccupation with how others perceive you. A wonderful healing opportunity to address, why do you care about what others think of you or how they perceive you? And is there a way that you can heal that? Maybe care about it less, or maybe heal it in the sense that you know how to portray yourself more realistically, so the gap between who you are and how you're perceived closes just a bit. Virgo, this new moon will give you a wonderful opportunity to be of service to others. And you might find that while you're being of service to others, that you're really praised and appreciated for it. You might get the opportunity during this new moon to really do like a selfless act of service or an act of kindness, and you find yourself really motivated to do that. And as a result, you're also indeed praised, noticed, and appreciated for it. With this wonderful opportunity, though, it might trigger something within you, and it might make you see that sometimes you have fear of responsibility. Sometimes you have fear of extending that same service to yourself, extending that same service to your own body and to your own needs. And that sometimes you might have a fear of taking a look at your own responsibilities, and also a fear of, if you are of service to others, that places a great deal of responsibility and a great deal of weight on your own shoulders. It's this idea of, okay, I've done something sweet or nice for somebody, and now I feel like there's all this responsibility. I need to continue to take care of them, or I need to continue to express and be that way towards everybody else. During this new moon, we have Chiron squaring Pluto and the new moon. And for you, this shows us that the new moon is a wonderful healing moment when it comes to your own beliefs and your own philosophies. You might find that during this new moon, you're sort of rewriting or rethinking what it is that you actually believe. It could be something quite big as, okay, I am shifting my political views, or something as big as, okay, I am, changing religions. But it could also be something on the smaller scale where you realize, no, I believe in prosperity. I believe in abundance. I believe in equality for all. So it can definitely have a more fundamental influence on your beliefs. Libra, this new moon might be the start of your future plans starting to come to fruition. This is happening in your 11th house, so you might find that your goals that you've been working towards, that you've been slowly ticking towards, are somehow coming about or somehow coming true. Maybe it feels like they're one step closer. And it might feel like you're much more talkative about them, open to sharing to others about them. And you might also find that you are receiving praise and appreciation and respect from others for these ambitions that you have for yourself. Maybe you've shared with somebody that over the last years you've saved 50,000 and you're about to buy your first house at only 18 years old. And these sort of future ambitions and this sort of prioritization is really making you stand out, is really making you shine bright and put the attention on you. However, remember this new moon is opposing Pluto. So you might find that while this is all happening, it's triggering fears that you have within you about fun, pleasure, enjoying the present moment. That could be that perhaps you have a fear that if you do that, you will become selfish. You will become too self-focused. Perhaps you have a fear that if you enjoy the present moment, if sometimes you spend money on that ice cream instead of saving it towards the house, that's completely going to derail you and you're going to be 80 and have nothing accomplished. Definitely take a look at the relationship you have with pleasure and fun in the present moment. And what I love about this new moon for you is that we have Chiron in the 8th house of vulnerability and intimacy. So this is a great opportunity to take a look at how do you view relying on others? Are you somebody that's able to be open and vulnerable and to ask for help? This, the situations that are happening, the feelings that are coming up during this new moon will be a great opportunity to be open and to get the help of somebody. Scorpio, of course, you are one of the other fixed signs. So because this new moon is in Leo, a fixed sign, this has the potential to be quite a pivotal new moon for you. Especially if your sun or your rising sign is in those early degrees of Scorpio. This new moon is happening in your 10th house, quite high up in the chart, at the highest point in the chart. So you might find yourself being recognized in the community. You might be getting an award or getting a new job, or even at your job, you're really praised for how you show up and the amazing work that you do. Keep in mind that this new moon is opposing Pluto. Pluto is in your 4th house. So you might find that there's certain fears that have been instilled in you as a child from your parents or your caretakers that are being triggered with all of this praise, all of this appreciation that you're receiving. It could be fears that success makes you evil, money makes you evil. It could be the fear that once you're successful, it's impossible to have a family because you're not going to have the time or the space for it. Really take a look at what this recognition is stirring up within you. And of course, because the sun and the moon are squaring Chiron in your 7th house, this is a great healing opportunity for your boundaries with others, how you compromise, and where that balance is for you between being selfish versus meeting somebody halfway and finding a balance where both you and the other person is happy. Sagittarius, this Leo new moon on July 24th is going to be a great opportunity for being recognized for your beliefs. Whether you are, a participant of a religion or whether you are a leader of a political party or a political movement, you might find during this new moon that you're really being recognized and appreciated for that. You share your beliefs, you stand for them, and people love that. People identify with that. People praise you for your courage, your bravery. This might bring up something within you, though, because this new moon is opposing Pluto. It might bring up any fears you have around open-mindedness. Maybe you are afraid that if you are open-minded, that you no longer can be a leader of a certain group, that maybe then people will doubt what you really believe. You might have a fear that if you do continue to stay curious and are open to having discussions with people with other ideas and beliefs, that's going to convince you otherwise, and you're going to have to you're going to have an identity crisis. You're going to need to change your affiliations. So really take a look at what is being stirred up within you. And of course, we do have this new moon squaring Chiron. So this is a wonderful healing opportunity for your relationship with responsibilities. And especially if you're somebody that has been avoiding responsibilities, is afraid to deal with maybe repercussions of what happens when you do believe in something, what the repercussions of when you stand for something, you eventually end up disappointing or angering the people that stand for the opposite. This will be a wonderful opportunity that will heal your relationship with responsibility. Capricorn, this has the potential to be quite an emotional new moon for you. And this is because it's happening in your 8th house, which can be quite an emotional house. What you could find happening around this new moon is that you are pouring your heart out to somebody you trust. You are vulnerable. You're maybe sharing things that you have thought that you have never shared with anybody before. Something that maybe feels scary, or maybe you feel a bit wrong to have those thoughts or to have those emotions. And you might find that when you open up, that's perceived wonderfully. You might find that that person really appreciates you opening up, is able to help you, to love you that much more. Remember that the new moon is opposing Pluto. Pluto is in your 2nd house. So while all of this is happening around the new moon, internally it might bring up fears that you have around self-reliance. There might be certain fears that come up. You realize that, wow, I actually think I'm fearful of being self-reliant because I think that the other person will think I don't need them anymore and they don't have a need in my life, so they're going to leave me. Or, wow, I really have a fear to love myself and to believe in myself because then there won't be a reason for the other person to love me. I can just be, loved and fulfilled on my own, so I'm not going to need the other person anymore. Really take a look at what fears are coming up for you during this new moon. And of course, the new moon is also squaring Chiron, and this is happening in your 5th house. And this is a wonderful healing opportunity to pleasure and fun. It's a wonderful healing opportunity for your relationship to pleasure and fun. You might find that during this new moon, you realize that life is supposed to feel good. Life is supposed to be fun. We're supposed to enjoy it. And whatever is happening, you opening up to this person, addressing your fears of being self-reliant might really contribute to you being able to also let go and also enjoy and take things a little bit less heavy and a little bit more lightly. Aquarius, as a fixed sign, this new moon could be potentially very pivotal for you, especially if you have your sun or your rising sign in those early degrees of Aquarius. What you might find during this new moon is that it's a wonderful time to be close with your partner and to express yourself freely with them. To be yourself, to be your fun, to be loud, to really shine bright. And you might find that your partner is really receiving that in a nice way. They're loving you for it, they're appreciating you for it, they're praising you for it. While this is happening, though, this might trigger something within you. The new moon is opposing Pluto after all. And it might trigger within you fears that you have around standing out, being your own unique individual. Do you have a fear that if you walk on the street and you stand out, then you're not safe? Then the chances of you being catcalled are bigger. Do you have a fear that if you stand out, you're never going to be able to fit in? Your friends are never going to understand you or open up to you. Really take a look at those fears and what you think will happen when you are expressing yourself and being your unique self. Chiron is squaring this new moon and Pluto opposition from your 4th house. So this is a wonderful healing opportunity for any self-limiting beliefs that you were brought up with as a child from parents or caretakers. Anything that you learned as a child, maybe you were told, shh, be quiet, sit down, don't be so loud, don't stand out so much, just be normal like everybody else. This would be a wonderful opportunity to address those and to heal them. Pisces, this new moon does represent you taking on responsibilities that you feel really proud of, responsibilities that you're pouring your heart into. And most likely around the new moon, you are getting praised for the great work that you're doing. You are getting appreciated for taking on these responsibilities and for how great you are at them and that you're really helping others with them. While this is all happening, it might trigger something within you. The sun is opposing Pluto after all. What it might trigger is any fears that you have around how you can be of service to the world. Maybe you're afraid that it's not possible. Maybe you have a fear that you're just going to die watching television and never really make an impact on others or on humanity. Maybe you have a fear that your service is not important enough, not big enough, not impactful enough. So do really take a look at the opportunities that are presenting themselves, the feelings that are coming up. And especially so because this new moon has the great potential to be quite healing. The new moon is squaring Chiron after all. And for you specifically, it could have a really healing effect on your voice, how you express yourself, how you use your voice. Maybe it reminds you and has this healing effect on, I am happy to talk loud and proud. I am happy to use my voice to help others. So you might find that there's definitely this healing opportunity on communication. Maybe you even find yourself with this new moon that you're starting a podcast or starting, like a blog or a newsletter, so that you can really share your voice with others. So those are the rising sign horoscopes for this Leo new moon on July 24th. Let me know down in the comments whether this resonated, whether you see these themes already coming up for you. I definitely find as a Leo rising, the themes I shared are ringing true for me. Do remember to hit subscribe so that you can enter the free reading giveaway. And of course, the booking link for readings is down below. I have 3 types of readings available, so make sure you check them out so you can read up on them. Thanks for joining me. Happy new moon, and I hope to see you again soon.